All right, Dave, thanks. In just 2 days, Iowans will go to the polls to vote in primary elections across the state. Here in the Cedar Valley, there are 3 Republicans running for the Republican nomination in State Senate District 38. That seat is currently held by incumbent Democratic State Senator Eric Giddens. KWWR reporter David Warrington introduces us to the 3 Republicans who want to take his job.
Iowa voters will have 3 choices for Senate District 38's Republican primary when they go to the polls on Tuesday. Among them is Dave Sayers, the former Cedar Falls city councilman who ran an unsuccessful Cedar Falls mayoral campaign in 2021. Sayers believes that bureaucrats have too much control in government and says he wants to help create a state government for the people. Some of the policy points he's focused on include lowering taxes and protecting the unborn, as well as parents' rights. He says he is frustrated the state government can't pass what he considers simple issues.
The things that got stalled in the Senate, they just absolutely shocked me. And they couldn't really decide on what a man and a woman was. We've got to have it so that men stay in men's sports, women have women's sports, and men stay out of the women's bathrooms. And all these are basic things.
James McCullough is running to represent the area where he grew up. He's focusing on lowering taxes, specifically property taxes, as well as funding first responders and reforming education with a focus on protecting you and I. He also has a specific focus on AEAs and says he would not have supported the bill that recently passed, explaining his personal connection.
My mother, in fact, was a school social worker who worked at AEA 7 for several decades. So I understand the important work that AEAs do. I think this needed to come back to the people, and there needed to be a lot more discussion and explanation.
Finally, former Blackhawk County Republican Chair Steve Schmidt is also running. Schmidt, who served on the Waterloo City Council for over a decade, wants the Cedar Valley to have an involved voice in Des Moines, something he says Democrats aren't able to do effectively since they're the minority at the state level. After talking with voters, Schmidt says the legislature needs to lower property taxes and confront illegal immigration at the southern border, as well as Chinese-owned land in America. He also feels his time in the city council gives him an edge.
My time on the city council, I've got a real good understanding of how things that are done at the state level affect city council, which ultimately affects the taxpayers' tax bill. And I think there's quite a few situations of what I call unintended consequences.
All 3 candidates will be on the ballot this Tuesday, with the winner facing Eric Giddens in November's general election.
Early voting already underway for this year's primary elections. On Tuesday, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m.